Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Bismark, Quarantine Edition. Tonight, we're making nachos. For this recipe, not only are we making nachos, we're going to be making our own guacamole as well. For this dish, we're going to use some homegrown tomatoes. As you can see, there are quite a few tomatoes here that are ready to pick. We only have one avocado, so we only need a handful of tomatoes. For this recipe, you will need 2 cloves of garlic minced, 1 teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of harissa, feta cheese, 1 block, chili flakes, 10 ounces of spinach, 15 ounces of kidney beans, 15 ounces of black beans, 2 handfuls of cilantro, some sunflower oil or other neutral oil, a couple sprigs of oregano, 1 sweet green bell pepper, 1 avocado, 1 jalapeno, 2 limes, a handful of tomatoes, a couple pinches of salt. We have our lovely avocado right here, which is ripe and ready. We're just going to cut into that. Now, when cutting an avocado, you want to be very careful not to cut yourself. The avocado's gone off a bit. What we'll do is cut around the brown bits and get the nice green bits out. This happens occasionally, and we have to make do with what we have. I unfortunately let that avocado go a bit longer than it should have. Now what we're going to do is scoop this avocado into this bowl. Okay, we're going to try to save this guacamole, and to do that, we're going to need a bit of help. Let's start with some limes. Now we're going to use both the zest and the juice of the limes in the nachos and the guacamole. So we'll just use 1 lime for the guacamole and 1 lime for the nachos. A microplane helps quite a bit when zesting limes and other citrus. You want to get all the nice zest out of the lime, but you don't want to go too far that you cut into the pith of the lime, which is the white stuff. We're going to juice this lime as well. After you've got the avocado, lime, and lime zest all in one bowl, you'll want to mash it together. Because a lot of our avocado went into the trash, we're left with very little guacamole today. Along with the avocados and the limes, we're going to add some of these fresh tomatoes into the guacamole. We'll just use half of the tomatoes I picked, and we'll add the other half to the beans for the nachos. To this mixture, we're going to add our half teaspoon of harissa, as well as a pinch of salt. Now we'll take a spoon and mix it all together. And you know what I've forgotten? Cilantro, which is a key ingredient in guacamole. We'll take about half that cilantro you saw earlier and chop it up and add it to the guacamole. One good thing about the cilantro is that we'll add some more green to this guacamole, which is looking quite red right now. Now we're going to mix this all together until it makes a nice guacamole. As you can see here, there's a lack of avocados, but there should be a punch of flavor from the fresh tomatoes, lime, cilantro, and harissa. It'll do. It's quarantine. Can't get new avocado. Now what we're going to want to do is take the chili flakes and grind them with a mortar and pestle. We're going to take our green bell pepper and chop it into some nice small bits. When cutting a green bell pepper, you want to slice the top off first and pull out the core with all the seeds on it. You can then also cut the bottom of it and then cut down the side, flatten it out, and then slice small strips before dicing the rest of the bell pepper. I've added them to the tomatoes that I'm going to leave whole for when we add to the beans. Hopefully this adds a nice pop of flavor. We're going to take this jalapeno and also dice it up. We'll leave some of the seeds in, but most of them I'll take out. We'll add these to this bowl here. And now, in the bean component of the nachos, we're going to need another lime, which will also zest and juice. Make sure not to cut your fingers on the microplane. It hurts a lot. We'll add this lime zest to the paprika that we got earlier. Now, we also want to juice this lime. Also from the garden, I've collected some fresh oregano that I'm just going to de-stem and chop up a bit. This oregano will be added to the paprika and lime zest mix we have. Now you might be wondering, what am I going to do with this block of feta? This is going to be the cheese component of our nachos. So first, I'm going to cut it into a few smaller blocks. By cutting it into smaller blocks, it will help it melt faster. We'll just add that back into the bowl it came from. Now we're going to chop the rest of our cilantro for use with the bean component. Okay, so now we're ready to assemble the bean component. For that, we're going to take our oil, pour a bit in, just a wee bit. That's probably enough. Let's just put that back. Move you. There, move you back, close you. Now, you want to turn this on to medium-high heat and make sure it ignites when you turn that on. Move that oil around a bit. Now the first thing we're going to want to add is the garlic. Let's wait for it to heat up just a bit more. Now a possible addition to this dish is either shallots or even some onions that you would add at this point. However, it being quarantine times, I don't have them available. I'll just add the garlic in there, like that. And, as you can notice by the fact that it's not sizzling, it's still a bit cold. Now the next things we're going to want to add is our spice flavors, which is going to be the chili flakes, the paprika, the lime zest, and the oregano. We'll just set them right there for right now. You can start to hear the sizzling of the garlic. We'll let that sizzle for about a minute until it starts to brown. Okay, so it's now starting to brown, so we'll add our spices. We'll want to act fast, as these we only want in there for about 30 seconds before we add other things. And the next thing we're going to add are tomatoes and bell peppers. Apparently I didn't dice up the bell peppers good enough, because some of them are sticking together a bit too much. Just move this around, get them to brown up a bit. The next thing we're going to add to this dish are the beans. We've left the beans in their liquid as it acts as a thickening agent, which will help bring everything together. But let's wait a couple seconds for the bell peppers to brown a bit more. In goes the black beans. Now we want to add the kidney beans. The beans have brought the temperature down, which has reduced the sizzling. So we're going to wait just some more time for the beans to increase in temperature, after which point we will add the jalapenos. In the meantime, I will continue to stir occasionally. Doing dishes while I cook. Now, before we add the jalapenos, we're going to add the lime juice. We want to cook down some of this liquid before we add the spinach and the jalapenos. We're going to add the jalapenos near the end so that we get as much flavor out of them as possible, because the longer you heat up jalapenos, the less flavor you get from them, I think. I've heard that somewhere. I'm going with that being true. Now I'm going to add the jalapenos and the spinach. It looks like a lot of spinach, but as it heats up and the spinach loses moisture, it will reduce in volume. To help that along, we'll put a lid on it. So, now that the spinach is nice and wilted, we're going to add the cheese. Now the cheese will start to melt and bring everything together. Let's add the cilantro now. Good. Okay, we're just about there. Let me just stir it around just a bit more. We're going to take this off heat now. Now we're ready to assemble our nachos. We've got our chips here, our bean component here, and our guac over here. Let's just take our bean component and pour it over the top of the nachos. Just like that. On top of this, we'll add a bit of our guacamole. And there we have it, some vegetarian nachos. Oh, very hot. That's actually very, very hot. Not half bad.
You like it?
It's very spicy.